Okay guys, we're going to cover Bitcoin, the Dow Jones, Cardano, Comp, and Link. Before we get into the TA guys, if you want to access these charts for 19 bucks a month, you get access to altcoins, Bitcoin, precious metals, and you get access to Discord. Again, it's $19 a month. If stocks and tutorials are separate, I do have options, lifetime options. You just pay one time and you get access to everything for life. So make sure if you click subscribe, you read the different subscription options and the details. The link for the website's in the description. It's optilartcrypto.com. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, guys. Videos take a while to record, process, and upload. So if something's going to happen, the first place I go to make a post is Twitter. It's fast, it's easy. Right here I was telling everyone that Chainlink was in a descending triangle, which is a bearish pattern. And I was giving you your support level here and resistance level here. We'll cover this in just a bit. This is already breaking down. Before we get into that, so again, if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's Optical Art Chart. That link is in the description. So right here, this is where I left off on yesterday's video. I'm not going to play these videos to spare you and save some time. If you do want to watch these videos, I'll put a link up to it now. And also there'll be a link in the description. But yesterday's video, again, if you look right here, it says August 24th. I was telling you the upside target is going to be around 11,952. If we drop, just like this line was previous support here, if you hit this line, this would be your next support level. So if we go to this actual chart, let's see, let's go ahead and play this out. So you'll notice we did come down and we hit this as support. Now the support I gave you was, I think, 11,444. So keep this in mind, depending on when you make contact with this line depends on when your support level is. If we're further out here, your support is going to be 11,460. Depending on when you hit the line depends on what your support level is. So again, if you have access to the charts, when you hit the line, hey, there's your support. But there are other things you have to worry about. It's possible this does not hold as support and we come down further. And what I'm trying to show you, before we get into that, let me just show you one other thing. So this was this is the same video from yesterday. I was trying to show you that we're expecting the fib channel lines going this way and these fib channel lines at an upward angle here. Notice I have 11,700 marked off right here. If we go to this chart, notice right here we were moving up this it looked like a rising wedge. As soon as we broke down, we hit right here. This was 11,700-ish. And then we pushed up, previous support becomes resistance, then we broke down below, we found support, now we're dropping below this. So let me just show you this chart, how this played out. So this is the Bitstamp BTC 726.20. This is to give you smaller targets, but take note when we hit this line right here. Let me go ahead and play this out. This is where we make contact at 11,700. We start riding up this line in this fib channel, and notice what happens when we break this fib channel. Down we come, and your support levels were already marked off. Notice we found perfect support here. We pushed back up as resistance. We went above it briefly, and then we came down, and now we're dropping. So again, these do give you targets. So that's what I was saying. Right here is 11,700 right here, and that goes along with this chart showing that this is potentially our support, showing that we're in this parallel channel right here. So again, we're moving down. So the other thing was, as I gave you one way to find your support level, which is this line here. We've already broke below this. So macro targets, guys, since we've already broke below this, this is super bearish in my opinion, because your next ultimate target is going to be down here around 10,666. I will be buying in here. Notice I had this marked off as next major support level. When we hit this point, whether it's here or further out here, I will be buying to ride this up. Your next support level down below, we will be respecting this ring. You can see this was support and resistance. So we will catch a temporary bounce when we hit this ring. Again, it depends on when you make contact with it. This is a Coinbase weekly chart, guys. So again, we could find support, we could ride up, find resistance here at potentially 11,481. If we break past this, your next major support is down here around 10,700-ish. Let's see. So this again, these are your support and resistance levels. You can tell, came up as resistance. We came down here as support, resistance. Found perfect support here. So it looks like we are coming down. Let me see here. So this is yesterday's video. I created a, and if you go back and watch the video, I show you how I created this fib circle. I created it during the video. And I gave you a target of 11,506. But the great thing about these fib circles is it shows you if it's possible the trajectory is going to change. Again, go back and watch that video. I kind of cover this fib circle a little more. Let me show you the actual chart here. So you'll notice that we found support, support, found perfect support here. We actually found support and then pushed back up, but we broke below this ring. In yesterday's video I said if we break this ring, this would show that we're changing, the trajectory has changed and we're probably going to go down much lower. Just going by this chart alone, your next major support, if we kind of come down and sideways, this is around 9,385. Look at how well price was respecting this ring right here. This resistance, support, resistance, support, support. So if we continue down, your next major support, according to this chart, is going to be around 9,766, and if it goes really low, 9,385. So it's just interesting, since we broke this is very bearish to me to come down and hit lower targets. Keep in mind, guys, we have a gap below us. We filled this gap up here, and it just makes sense. I have a video. If I find that video, I'll put a link in the description. I show why it seems price goes out of its way to fill these gaps. Again, I'll put that in the description if I can find it. But your next gap below us is between 9,915, 9,665. So at current price, at the time of recording this video, for us to come down and fill that gap, that's about 15.32%. So it does seem likely we're coming down to fill that gap. It is very possible at this point we could push up a bit until we hit resistance and then come down further. Keep in mind we have gaps between 8,945, 8,920 right here. We have a gap right here between 7,665, 7,610. Guys, yes, we have another gap way down here at 3,595 and 3,570. So keep that in mind as a possible target to fill this gap down below. The Dow Jones, notice that we're getting rejected right here. The reason I have this chart up, guys, something is going to happen on 9/11. I have so many charts showing that date. I have a ring on at least 4 different charts showing something is going to happen on this day. Guys, it's possible nothing happens. It's possible we cross this ring, we could push straight up. I think it's more likely we cross this ring and we have a drop, but because I have so many charts showing that this is an important date for something to happen, just pay attention. If whatever you're doing, if you're in stocks, if you're in gold, if you're in Bitcoin, just take the time to pay attention to the charts or whatever you use to look at the price of Bitcoin and the stocks. Pay attention on that date because it looks like something's going to happen. This is the Dow Jones chart I use in all of my live streams, and I want you to take note that this has been very strong resistance. This yellow line right here, you can see this yellow line right here has been very strong resistance. Right here, when the market closed, we stopped right here at resistance. When the market opened, notice that when it opened right above this ring. We topped out at this white ring, the market closed right here. Next time the market opened, it was below resistance. We pushed up as resistance. We pushed up as resistance, got rejected, dropped down to this this line right here. And guys, I do have stocks for, again, I have multiple charts for Dow Jones, S&P. I have the dollar index, which is a very important chart to watch. Again, but just going by this chart, you can see we came down as support. We found perfect resistance again, so you would know going by this chart this is a likely point to short from. So if we come down, a potential you can see we topped out right here. So a potential support level to watch would be right here. We topped out at 28,433. So your next support level is 27,997, and then you have support levels below as well, just like the Bitcoin charts. These are already mapped out for you guys. If we drop below this point, this is your next target to watch right here. But what I'm trying to point out is seeing how well price is respecting this orange fib circle here. It just so happens this is another chart. Again, this ring, look where we make contact. Where if we continue sideways, we make contact with this ring September 11th, another chart showing that. And if we go to this chart, look at this. September 11th is right here. So if we continue sideways and we hit, you know, again, right where we're at now, if we go sideways, we make contact with this ring on September 11th. So it's very possible this ring could start pushing us down just like these previous rings. This ring right here, this is the same fib circle. Notice how price rode down the inside of this ring, and when we approached this ring, we found resistance, we crossed it, and then started coming down. So what I'm saying is, it's very possible the same thing could play out. If we go sideways, we could potentially hit this ring and start pushing down on the inside. You know, your next major support would be down here around 7,434, or it's possible that we could cross the ring, possibly maybe get a pump up to here around 12,905, kind of playing out how it did right here, and then we start riding down the outside of this ring to see how far down we go. So I'm just saying, pay attention to that date, guys. Something is going to happen on that day. I'll put a link up to that previous video talking about the potential Dow Jones crash. If you want to click it, the link's right, it's popping up right now. So that covers the Dow Jones and the gaps. Again, you know, that was another chart. This is also a chart I have. This is my Coinbase weekly chart the way it originally was. I put this on the 1 hour because this has been so accurate for targets. I have this is the cut down smaller version on the 1 hour, but this is the original Coinbase chart. This is on the website as Coinbase Weekly B, and you can see right here this. Let me get rid of all the stuff on the chart, guys. I know this is running a little bit long, but you can see this ring right here, this yellow ring. That is this ring right here. And if you zoom out and get the bigger picture, price is respecting this yellow fib circle. We got topped out here, came down to support, we found resistance, we found support. As soon as we broke this support, we came down, tested this yellow ring, pushed up as resistance, we kind of went sideways. Notice we found resistance at this ring, found support. So currently, and what I'm saying is, if we come down, your first support level is going to be this ring right here, potentially 11,223. If we drop below that, your next major support, where I'm buying in, is around 10,695. But again, look at this ring right here. The price has been respecting. Also, we make contact on September 11th. Again, there's something about that day. Something is going to happen. Make sure you watch that previous video. ADA, so I just want to cover one thing about ADA. While we are respecting these individual lines, you can see this right here. I did cover this in the previous video, but this right here has been a lot of strong support. We have dropped below this point. You can see we did drop below this point. We're still coming down. Take note that we dropped below this ring. So in yesterday's video, I was talking about if we stayed at current price, we move sideways, it'd be around August 26th. But notice we've already hit this ring, so it's possible that ADA continues to ride up this ring. It is very possible something like this could happen. It's also possible, if you look at these previous rings, guys, and you never know what's going to happen in a ring. The best thing to do is just pay attention. Notice that we were topped out, this fib circle back here. Notice we got topped out right here, right here, right here, again, we dropped below it, got resistance. As soon as we broke above it, we pushed up. So, you know, right here, this was a pump. Same thing, as soon as we hit this ring, we got a pump and then started coming down. You know, that's what happened 2 times. So every time we cross this ring, you get resistance, you get a pump, and then you drop. This ring right here, we got a pump and then we got a drop. We're coming up on the next fib circle right here. We're already at it, actually. So I guess what I'm saying is pay attention, because something can happen here. It's possible we could cross this, get a pump, and then start dropping further, or we could just cross this ring and get a pump. But keep in mind, this is very strong support. Now this will be resistance. So it's also possible we cross this ring. If we do not make it above this point, this can come down much further and hit these targets below. So again, we're already at that ring, so I would keep an eye on ADA. And let me mark out some of these targets for you here. Let's see if I can find it. Price labels. So your next support down below is right here at 0.114. Your next support below that will be potentially 0.109. If we do push up, this is now a strong resistance right here at 0.117, and then again these will be your resistance levels on the way up, and go back and look and see how many times that line was tested to know if it's going to be stronger support or resistance. But it does look like this ring is holding as support, and if it does play out the same, it does seem likely, again it doesn't have to play out the same at every ring, but it does seem likely that we'll, actually now I'm looking at this, every time we hit this ring, we hit it at the top, from the inside top pump, inside top pump. Now we're hitting this ring at the bottom inside. So it is possible, like I said, that we could ride up this ring, and then when we cross, come back down, or we could just potentially cross this and just have a major drop. Again, just pay attention to it. Rings play out all kinds of ways, but I use previous rings to get an idea what might happen. Since we're hitting it from the bottom inside, I'll be interested to see if we ride up this ring or not. But again, this will be strong resistance. Keep in mind we have a ring out here as well. If we continue sideways, that will be August 27th. Comp, you can see that, and the reason I had this rerealm back, let me just play a little clip real quick. I just wanted to show you. I was pointing out that this, I already lost where I was at. Hold on. But I was pointing out, let me see here. I do want to just make sure that you guys are aware that I already lost it. I don't coming up this whole video, but ring. What I was pointing out, if you go back and watch the previous video, I was telling you that when we cross this this ring, because you can see, and this goes along with what I was just showing you with ADA. Every time we cross one of these orange rings, let me zoom out a bit. This orange fib circle here. Every time we cross one of these rings, we have a drop. We found support on this major support level here. As soon as we crossed this orange ring, we had a drop. So what I was saying is, when we cross this orange ring, we could potentially have another drop. Now, if we went sideways, it'd be August 26th before we hit it. But since we came down lower, look how this played out. So you can see right here, as soon as we cross this ring, we had a drop. So that's why I'm saying pivot rings help you find their timing for potential moves. And that's why I'm saying, guys, Dow Jones, September 11th, Bitcoin, September 11th, another Bitcoin chart, again, right here, September 11th, guys, pay attention to that date. Real quick, let's just cover Link. So, a Link right now, and guys, typically what happens, so, watch these other YouTubers, and what they'll do is they'll say, all right, so this is our support. Now this is a descending triangle. This is a bearish pattern, and I made a tweet about this. So typically what people do is you go from the top to the bottom. This would be considered the mouth, and then you go from potentially, I guess sometimes they go from the top. I guess it depends on how you do it. But so if we broke to the upside, you would say, oh well, your target's going to be the mouth from the distance here. But no, if we break up, your target will be here, because we know this is very strong support and resistance. So if we push up, your target is right here at $16.15. If we continue down, notice how well we're respecting these on the way down. We drop below, we found support, we found resistance, so your next target below is going to be right here, around $13.92. But your ultimate target is going to be right here. And if we break this down, so if the amount you break up is the mouth, so the amount you break down is potentially the same distance from the mouth. So if we come down, it's not going to drop down to here, it's going to drop right to here. So while people are guessing about how far it can drop, these charts already have it mapped out. If we find support right here, all right, we start pushing up at this point. But if we do move the distance of this mouth, it's not going to be off by a little bit, it's going to be right here. This was our previous support, this will become support right here. We found support here, so if we continue down, which typically you go from the mouth, so again, your first target is $13.92. If we drop the distance of the mouth, your next target is $13.33, potentially catch a bounce. Keep in mind, I had this marked off as white because this has been very strong support. So if you're looking for a point too long, if we do come down, maybe we find support, push back up as resistance, come down and test down here, I will be buying Chainlink at this point to catch a bounce, because this has proved to be very strong support. If you go back and you look at this line, this is where we got topped out back on July 12th. Resistance, resistance, resistance. right here. This is resistance before we got our pump. So to me, that is a very likely point to catch a strong this is strong support to catch a bounce. So again, I'll be buying Link at this point. So I think that covers everything, guys. Just make sure you do pay attention to I got my brush still on. Make sure you pay attention. If we continue sideways, if let's say if we push back up, you know, and if we start going sideways, let's see here. So if we go sideways from this point, you know, right now it will be September 11th when we make contact. Let's say by some chance we do push back up above this point and we stay above this ring. Not expecting that to happen, just giving you different scenarios. If that does play out, we will make contact with this ring. The apex would be that would be on the 4th of September. But I do think this ring will possibly continue to push us down. And this is your next support ring down below, guys. Don't forget that. And we have that gap down there. So again, those are your macro targets, guys. Again, if we happen to push up, this would have been your resistance since we broke this support level. Now we are in. Let me go ahead and get rid of this right here and where we started that video. So again, this chart, if you want macro targets, make sure you load up the Coinbase weekly chart. Your next chart and your next macro target, look, we were in this channel, resistance, support, resistance. We pushed up briefly, back into this channel, support, resistance, support, pushed into this channel, resistance, support, resistance, support, came down to this channel, support, resistance, pushed into this channel. We didn't quite make it to the top. We did. We came back down. We pushed back under. This became resistance, support. We didn't quite make it back up. Now we broke down below. So what I'm saying is, it's possible, you know, we could find support, push back up, come back down, possibly break it. This is your next major support. I will buy in here to ride it up to this point. If it doesn't make it above that, I'll sell. If it does push above it, I will be selling up here around 11,533. But guys, that's it. I will keep you guys updated. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. For, you know, if I want to make something, I make a tweet to let you know if I see something going on or something happening. And again, if you want to access these charts, it's opticalcrypto.com. And I'll do a live stream maybe tomorrow, so we can watch how these charts played out live. I haven't done a live stream in a while, so I'm looking forward to doing that. But guys, that's it. Until the next video.